Hello, everybody. Welcome to Reddit Reactions, where real humans react and read Reddit stuff. Today's Ask Reddit question I picked is, what is your favorite video game memory? I personally am fascinated by video games. I lost my father as a kid, and video games are a coping mechanism for me. Absolutely. And in some ways, I think that instead of having some problem with alcoholism or something else, I had problems with playing too many video games. And that's honestly better because I got a lot of talents and skills from things that originated in video games and like video game economies, and I earned money from real life from doing that same kind of thought pattern. Games brought a lot of good things into my life. It just wasn't until I was able to develop more self-control that I was able to have games in a more balanced way in my life. But games are so important to me because my goal, what I want to do, is create an MMO. And that's a long, expansive process. In order to do that properly, you got to do a lot of different things. And one of those things is really understand video games and have played a lot of video games. So I like to study particularly people's memorable experiences with video games. Companies like Nintendo, in my eyes, they got it, you know. They made formative experiences in millions of children. That's what I want. Somehow I want to get to that spot in like 50 years. So there's a lot of things I got to do, and making this Reddit video about this video game thing is one of them. Let's go. Oh, nice. This is a good long post about Skyrim. Appropriate, totally appropriate. Skyrim is open world, Bethesda style game. A lot of people had the Skyrim experience, and that was their first Elder Scrolls game. But in general, people who really like Elder Scrolls, they tend to like the first Elder Scrolls game they played, if it wasn't the first two, because they were more linear, but also really good. So people really enjoy like Morrowind or Oblivion or Skyrim, and they tend to obsess about the one they first played or first really got into. But they're all basically the same experience, if we're being honest with each other, right? Like the Elder Scrolls games, like Skyrim, are an open world, exploratory, quantity over quality kind of game. You know, like in the way that the creatures and NPCs move, they're very robotic, and you know they kind of make that a little bit better in Oblivion and stuff. But ultimately, it's just kind of like slapping paint on the same kind of robotic. Like, the thing is the variety of different tons of options and the grandness, not the individual details. You know, if you just take one little town and that's all you can do in the whole game, it's not that interesting. You need the whole grandeur of everything, right? But let's see what this person felt, right? Skyrim. I forgot the quest exactly, but I was sneaking around a manor when I came up on a rather weak-willed individual in a holding cell. I released him and promised to escort him safely out of the manor. I even armed him with some random steel dagger I had lying in my inventory in case he needed it. Maybe together we can get out of this manor alive. We exit out the back of the manor and through a short cave and find ourselves overlooking a road. Me sticking my head out of this cave was done at a moment of extreme bad timing. Looking up at me from the road was about half a dozen armed Stormcloaks, who instantly took a disliking to me as I was a member of the other army. The leader began in on some harsh insults, and the others began moving toward me. At that instant, about 7 hungry and poorly equipped Forsworn bandits came hollowing down the mountain from behind me. They fall on the Stormcloaks, wailing away with their hand axes and bows. The guy I'm escorting makes some rather timid exclamations, but stays with me, steel dagger in hand. The first blows are ringing out, when you not, a dragon rises from around the bend, attracted to the commotion. A complete and utter Charlie Foxtrot of a situation ensues, and everyone begins fighting everyone else as it becomes a wild blur of fighting men and dragon fire. It was at this point that the guy I was escorting literally threw his hands in the air and ran down the road screaming. He was promptly killed by the dragon as it bathed him in a breath of fire. I stand back for a while, but eventually begin laying into the dragon with the help of the Stormcloaks. I win in the end, surrounded by dead Stormcloaks, Forsworn, and the body of my dead friend from the manor. I loot the steel dagger and head on out. That's pretty funny. Glad you got the dagger back. You never know when you may need it. The curse of Elder Scroll games. Oh, This post is by Fish Phoenix. Playing vanilla WoW for the first time and reaching the major cities is awe-inspiring. Before grinds, raids, and drama, there was only adventure and spectacle. Oh, this hits home for me because I'm playing out of Classic right now. If you like playing Classic World of Warcraft and you happen to play on the Bigglesworth server, then hit me up. My character name is Gull. I've absolutely loved Classic. Getting back into the video game thing, for me, the first really impactful video game experience I had that wasn't multiplayer was Ocarina of Time, basically. But that was just a single-player experience and quite short in reality. Like, less than 100 or 200 hours. But the definitive, really, wow, I spent tons of time experiences was with World of Warcraft, Vanilla, and RuneScape. Those games I have played not in total time spent over a year of my life. It's pretty bonkers. That's not like a year spent playing. That's like a year's worth of hours. That's so much time. And that is why I want to make MMOs. I don't see any other medium out there that allows you to capture so much human attention. And the problem with a lot of games now is they're made to be addicting. They're made to kind of prey upon the addictive nature of MMOs. But you don't have to develop a game like that. And I want to develop a game that sets you up to play it and enjoy it for a year, and then it's designed that you stop playing at that point. I don't want to milk people and keep them playing my game past the point where it's hurting them in their real life. The goal of the game is to influence people's real physical lives in a positive way. So how do you create an MMO that battles all of the things that the addiction of the MMO, right? So the reality is, me in this raiding guild and all the other people I raid with, we all have an intense video gaming addiction, right? And I'm not always happy to say that video gaming is an addiction. I don't like framing it that way. But given how often all the people who raid play, it really becomes at a point where how can it not impact other parts of your life when you're doing something for 2 to 6 hours every day? It's very impactful, right? So my goal is to figure out how I can create a gaming experience where it is it's going to end, because that's something that I think brings a value to it. Like, that somehow you've got to move on, basically. Maybe you could start over. I don't know how I'll tackle that, but I'll figure it out. But I relate to WoW comments, and I thought I couldn't have that kind of experience, to be honest. But then I played Classic, and I got into a cool guild, and holy shit, made me realize the thing that was stopping me from enjoying WoW again after that vanilla experience, because I tried retail a bunch of times, no luck. And the things that were missing, there were two things missing. One, the circumstance of my life, and two, I didn't get involved in a guild that I liked in any of the other attempts. Whereas this time, I got in with a bunch of people that are really talented, really fun to play with, and not assholes. So it's been amazing. So if there's something in your childhood that you think you can't enjoy, you can't ever have that experience again, you can't ever feel that interested or that immersed in something, you're probably wrong. You just got to figure out how to re-tap into the conditions that led to you enjoying that. You being a child wasn't one of them. It was just the one you're saying is the reason. But really, there was some desire for social ability. There was some desire for something. There was something else that was present. Or you had a lot of time in your life when normally you're busy. Some star aligns. And that's when you truly have the best experiences. So don't think that those experiences you've had in the past are over. If you haven't had them, that just means you're not in touch with what you really want to do with your life. It doesn't mean it's impossible. All right, next about what is your favorite video game memory? The first time I played Bioshock. I wish I could wipe my memory and play it again. I love the creepy music, the imagery, the fear. It was perfection. Bioshock Infinite for me. I'd gladly take a mindwipe to have the last hour of that game again. Oh, another comment about Runescape. Playing Runescape back in 2007 and finally getting my first full set of armor. I felt invincible. Also, the music. Yeah, RuneScape has some amazing music. It really does. Considering it's simple. Oh, I listen to so much video game music that I play games and hear music, and I know the music from a lot of the games that I play for the first time because I don't really listen to other music. I'm just like, okay, Google, play the best awesome video game music from Zelda on YouTube Music. And then it just does that. And like, I change those keywords. So sometimes I'll be like, oh, okay, play good study music, or awesome, great, perfect study video game music. You know, every keyword you add changes the result, changes the flavor. It's great. Oh. This post by Whiskey Master Race. Of course, one of these is going to be about GTA. You can't have comments like this not about GTA. The first time I popped the tank cheat in Grand Theft Auto 3, that killing spree I went on was the most legendary 2 hours of my gaming life. Cheats tend to have that effect. It's actually quite interesting from a game dev perspective. If you look at people's gameplay experiences, when they start using cheats the first time, they actually have a lot of thrills. They really enjoy it. It's really fun. But what tends to happen is they kind of use up all of their reward scheme. And after that period of enjoyment ends, there's a shallowness and emptiness because they've messed up the work you have to do to feel like you got something. And you're going to enjoy stuff more if you have to work for it, long story short. Like, long life lesson short, actually. If you get things easily, you don't care about them. If you have to work for them, you'll enjoy them more. Like food, you know how if you see food cooking and you watch it and you smell it, you want to eat it? Same shit. All right. No, nothing about Zelda. There's got to be. I bet if I keep going through this, there's going to be something about Zelda. All right. Chocolate Cheese just listed 4 games. Battlefront 2, Instant Action, Mos Eisley, Hero Assault. What's Mos Eisley? Huh. Oh, no. This is just Battlefront 2. Okay, I get it now. I thought these were all 4 different games, but they're actually just different conditions of a map type on the video game Battlefront 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2. That game was so good. It really was. Wow, what an amazing Battlefield game, or Battlefront game. I think they redid those recently, but there were 2 of them. There was Star Wars Battlefront 1 and Star Wars Battlefront 2. They were in like the PS2, GameCube, PC era, and I had them on the PC. But you had this conquest mode where you could like take over the whole galaxy and fight other people, and each time it was like a tactical map, and then when you moved pieces, you would actually have to do the fights under different conditions and stuff, and it was really cool. I loved that as a kid. I remember playing that for like hours and hours and hours. As a child, I was so able to just be absorbed in a video game that I didn't worry about losing interest, right? Like, I didn't lose interest when I beat it or whatever. I just could keep playing it, right? So one thing that always fascinated me in particular was very epic, long games. Those were the ones that I really liked because I never like got into them immediately. But once I got into a game like that, to know that I could just keep playing it, it wasn't until I got older and actually paying attention to games and maintaining interest became a problem that I stopped really going after epic games, basically. But back when I was a kid, I loved that. And in World of Warcraft, the 6-hour Ultrak Valley matches, oh man, I was horrible at PvP, but I loved those. I thought it was so cool. That epic thing, man. Always a blast. I still like Mos Eisley on the original Battlefront more. Alright, this is about Star Fox 64. Beating Star Fox 64 for the first time. I was 10 years old, and it was one of the first video games I ever beat. I was so excited I peed my pants. Holy crap. Wow. I've never been so excited about anything, a video game, winning a video game, that I pee my pants. If I can produce video games that people get so into they piss their pants when they beat them. Oh, I would be honored. Challenge accepted. Ooh, this reply to what's your favorite video game memory by Tyrosine. Playing cooperative in Halo with my dad. He wasn't the best at the game and would often complain about me running off. But damn, it's by far my fondest memory of any video game. Oh, that would be so cool. I had a little memory with playing GoldenEye 64 with my dad, but all I remember is that he was like, oh, we can't work together? I have to kill you? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, he didn't want to do that. It was really sweet. This is going to sound really weird, but yeah. I wasn't a rich kid at all, and my uncle gave me his old PlayStation 2 with a copy of the Harry Potter Quiddich game. I must have been at least top 10 in the world at that game. I just remember you could beat the out of the other wizards if you were a beater. Good times. That was a fun game. Hey, here we are. I knew Zelda had to show up. This reply by Your Dilemma. Beating The Legend of Zelda for a Nintendo Entertainment System in the summer of 1991 when I was 7 years old. I played that thing every day. I was so proud of myself when I finally beat it. You beat that thing at 7? That's pretty impressive, yo. That takes some dedication. I tried to replay that game, and it took a while before I was able to beat it. But beat it is kind of a debatable thing, because most people would say that just means you beat Ganon, you beat the final boss. But in that game, when you beat the final boss, you can then replay the whole game with like different things in different places and different puzzles and stuff. So you actually have to play it through twice to experience like both varieties of it. I've never played it through the second time though. Ryder and Big Smoke betraying Grove Street. Huh. No idea what that is. Oh, that was in GTA. Okay. Oh, of course someone's going to talk about The Last of Us. Dang. All right. Another beautiful game. So just for reference, there's 3 games I'm aware of that received like perfect critic scores, putting the not perfectly usefulness of critic scores aside for a moment. There's 3 games that received that right, and they've all already come up actually. Well, no, Breath of the Wild hasn't come up, but Zelda has. Breath of the Wild and GTA 5, right? Yeah, GTA 5 and or maybe it was 6. I don't remember. I can't remember the number right now. Whatever the most recent GTA game is. Breath of the Wild and I think The Witcher was the other one. So The Witcher hasn't come up yet. But Last of Us is also an absolutely amazing game. There's a lot of controversy about the second one, but I mean, they're very cool, fun storytelling games for sure. I really love the first one. I haven't had time to play the second one because I don't have a PS3. I completed The Last of Us 2 months ago on PS3. After watching the ending, I was like, what the just happened? The ending was so abrupt. I mean, they were chatting a few seconds ago, and now the game is finished. I would have never seen that coming. I was also very shocked by what happened in the hospital. Kept looking for explanation for the ending on Reddit and other places, and man, some of them were so deep. I was totally astonished. I mean, no movie or game ever left me with this much curiosity once I finished it. I still occasionally search for The Last of Us info. The whole TLOU experience is probably my best video game memory. Yeah, The Last of Us is next level. Absolutely next level for sure. We're scrolling and saw The Last of Us 2 and almost myself. Now I'm blue. All right, everybody. That was the long one. Thanks for watching. If you want to make content just like this, where you read and react to stuff on the internet that's displayed on your screen as you record it, please reach out to us. Go to our About section on this YouTube channel and then click for business inquiries and contact us. We want to have a Zoom call with you, so just send an email and say hello. we're looking to find other content creators who are interested in using something like this, because when you create content this way, what you find is that you're able to research and pinpoint and make videos so much more easily than if you were trying to edit the content. And ultimately, the best content on YouTube is always like researched and edited and teamwork content. But very few people are able to start out that way. Usually you get to that point, right? So how do you start now? How can you get involved in YouTube if you haven't yet, but you've wanted to? I'm encouraging you to do this. Just use screencasting software, learn to react, learn to narrate, learn to just have a button where you just click it and you talk. Because that's ultimately what a lot of it's all about. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you next time.